looping, so apparently.
Yeah, maybe. We'll find out.
Let's see. Usually takes a minute to catch up here. Check out this stream from 9 seconds ago. I mean, that's probably this one? Twitch? You weirdo?
Yeah, Twitch has been horrible with their announcement of people that you follow coming online.
Yes.
Where it's like it'll pop up and it's like, oh, they just started. It's like cool, and then you click on it. It's like, no, they've been up for like 5 minutes now. It's like, then why am I just now getting the notification?
Stream for 4 hours, offline 5 minutes ago. It's just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Man. All right. It looks like we're okay. Are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is the Nymph.
Hi. It's all weird.
That's right. We're all out of sorts here today because Moon is off on vacation. He'll be back next week, and he isn't here, but I'll let the Nymph do it to remind you to go become a patron over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Oh, thank you. Get all the exclusive early access, behind the scenes goodness. We talk a lot about in the Outcast this week, the exclusive uncensored episode for patrons. Talk a lot about the educational system this week. You know, really hitting the spiciest of topics. Got some parent-teacher conferences. We got some sports. We cover it all.
Yeah. Lots of talk about Betsy DeVos. Is she doing a good job?
That's right. That's right. Call in. Let us know. Yeah. So you get that exclusively over there. You get early access to We Rogue Like It, a show where Moon and I are playing just so many roguelikes. God, there's so many coming out every week. You can get, I think it's like 2-month early access to Critical Misses, show where Moon and I are going through all the media hits we missed. And if you're a $5 or more subscriber, you can get early access or world exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting. That's where Moon and I kind of talk about what we're going to talk about next on the season there. The recommended tier is a $5 tier. That gets you everything. It's $5 a month, not per episode. So I know we released so much audio every month, so you're not gonna get the bill and be like it's $150. Nothing like that. So $5 a month. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Nymph, you get the dubious honor of going first this week. Then what have you been playing this past week?
Everything is just wrong. Black is white, up is down.
That's right.
There's a certain cadence that you get used to, and you just shut your brain off, and then when you're like, oh yeah.
Moon's talking about something. I'm just going to go to my happy place.
Yeah. So this week, I played a little bit of Smash Brothers with my son on the Switch.
Okay.
He is at the point where he can just regularly kick my butt because the only time I play is maybe once every 2 months with him. We still have the house rule of random map, random character pick, no items.
Okay.
Just so that it's just pure skill. And let me tell you, I have none of that pure skill right now.
I don't have any skill whatsoever.
The best I ever did, I think altogether, because we played Friday night and then we played Saturday evening, and I think between all of those we did 12 games, and I won one of those games.
Okay.
And that was because I got Lucian, I believe her name is, who is the daughter of Marth.
Oh, sure, right.
Plays pretty much exactly like Marth. And Marth was who I used to main on the GameCube version of Smash Brothers.
There you go.
So I was counter-punking him where, I would do the counter while he was acting like he was going to attack me just to keep throwing him off. And then he'd go to attack me thinking that I wasn't paying attention. Then I'd counter him. Yeah, really rocked his world on that one.
Yeah. Get stuffed, kid.
Yeah, but other than that, though, he's actually gotten really good with a lot of different characters. So I even played as Ken one time, which was the weird, like Ken from Street Fighter, the weirdest thing ever, where it's like I'm throwing Hadoukens, doing hurricane kicks, like all this.
That's right. So, I got this muscle memory, Ken's muscle memory here.
it was just that was the weirdest experience playing as Ken in those games, and I enjoy how Smash has just gotten to a point where it's like we probably have a character from whatever series you enjoy.
Like, it's a lot like Fortnite, where it's people like, oh yeah, you got Master Chief in there. It's like, yeah. Oh, you
Yeah,
got the Xenomorph from Alien. Yes, yeah, we got
yeah,
that too.
and they look and play fine. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
so
they. We got them all, baby.
yeah. So next game after that, I played Legend of Heroes: Trails from Zero.
Hmm.
I am now in chapter 2 of day 2
Okay.
of our Lord, and and it's going great. I'm trying to think of what to actually talk about it because it's kind of one of those games where it's like you're either gonna know if you like it or you don't ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun and goofy to me, but I know not everyone enjoys these kind of games.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lot of like Soul Hackers 2, where it's like if you really like this type of game, you're going to like it. But usually, if you look at gameplay of Trails from Zero, you probably know pretty immediately whether you're gonna like it or not. Like
Yeah.
it looks exactly how it is.
I am finding playing it always with high speed on is the way to go.
Yeah.
Even during the little, they don't have actual cutscenes in the game, but during like the in-game cutscenes,
Hmm.
just because you always have, the character walking across the screen. It's like
Yeah.
this really doesn't need to be this slow, so you just just turn on high speed, and they're just kind of running across that
Hmm.
that screen and starting the dialogue. And the dialogue doesn't keep going; it still stops when they're done talking.
Oh,
So
nice.
you don't have to worry about missing dialogue. It's waiting for you to continue. It's prompting you to
Right.
continue on. So it's just a lot easier to just let it run that fast unless you want to spend 25 minutes for 5 minutes of content.
Yeah, because it's interesting because if anyone listening doesn't play a lot of RPGs, handheld RPGs are really a different beast, where they are usually longer and slower and grindier because they kind of almost expect you're going to be on the couch watching TV while you're grinding this dungeon, or you're going to be on a commute, or you're going to be like half paying attention to it. And that's not mean. It's just like the reality of it's going to be a slower experience. So I'm happy to hear that they added kind of a faster thing to
Yeah.
just keep it moving.
Well, and keeping in line with that, every time you start a new, I guess, like day,
Hmm.
they front end you with like all the information, and so that way,
Right.
once you have that information, then it's like, okay, let me find all the quests that I can do. Let me
Hmm.
go, to the area that I need to go. Let me grind a little bit to
Fill up
get
my
some money.
log.
Where, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
get that beast log filled out and all
Right.
that stuff. So, and then you get to the end of the chapter, and then it just dumps on you. Okay, this is what's happening. This is what you
Hmm.
found out, and all that fun stuff. And then it pretty much launches you into a save screen, and then it continues on with the front end dump again, and that's
Yep.
kind of the loop. So, I mean, it's great. It's fine. I still love it. The story is exactly what I want it to be so far.
Hmm.
And that's all I can say. It's just a fun game. I kind of wish a part of me kind of wishes that they updated it just a little bit, like some little bit of quality of life stuff.
Yeah, just
Like
like go a little further.
yeah, because I mean, I have the map now, so that way within Crossbelt, I can teleport directly to certain districts and building.
Oh,
Great.
nice.
Going to villages outside of that, you just have to go outside of Crossbell into the highways, and then there's like a bus stop, and you look at the sign, and it tells you, hey, do you want where do you want to go, and then you click
Oh,
from
okay.
there. But it's only for that highway. You can't go, like, if you go to the West Highway, you can't pick a town that's on like the East Highway. You have to go to the East Highway and pick. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, it's not horrible
Yeah, but
because
it's just
then you
sort
can
of
just go in,
like,
yeah, because then you can go into Crossbell, then fast travel within Crossbell to the East Highway, do the load screen real quick, which there's like no load screens right now because it's a handheld game,
right.
and then the bus stop's right there, and then you can continue on your merry way. It's just, but like just the 5-10 seconds that I waste on that.
Yeah, just like instead of doing 3 or 4 teleports, if I could just do one, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm still having a ton of fun with this.
Nice.
That's yeah, it's exactly what I'm looking forward to the new stuff too because Reverie just started in Japan, the games that take place after Cold Steel.
Oh, nice.
So we're waiting for those to come out to the West
Right.
now, and that has to do with another nation that we haven't been to yet. but
Oh,
a lot of
nice.
what's happening now leads into what's happening between the two major nations.
Oh,
And
okay.
then there's the fun anime that's coming out at some point. And it's like
Right.
I'm really glad that all of a sudden these have just kicked off and they're doing really well in the West, because I think when I came on the podcast and I said, "Hey, I'm playing Legend of Hero games," and I get a couple stares like, "You're doing the what now?"
That's right. That's right. Because the first one was famous for having kind of a slow beginning and a huge cliffhanger ending, and
Yeah.
that was really everybody's knowledge of it. And now it's like the Yakuza games where it's like all of a sudden super hot, bring them all over. It's like great,
Yep.
love it.
But and then my last game was I played a little bit more Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Okay.
Nothing too much to report on this. I've just been exploring. There was a giant serpent that I ran past last time that I kind of went back and explored that area, and that was a bad idea. It's not. I don't think that's meant to be an actual fight. I think that's just meant to be kind of like a hazard for
Oh,
this one
sure.
particular area that maybe later on you can rectify.
It's
But
like the T-Rex in that opening area of Final Fantasy 12 where it's like, huh, it's a
yeah.
T-Rex. Oh, it one-shot me. Oh no.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, you could build up to that and eventually
Oh, for
take it
sure.
out if you pull out your draw system just right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so it's just a lot of grinding, figuring out weaknesses, because I think I have all of the prosthetic arm enhancements. I
Oh,
think I
okay.
have all of them. Now I'm just looking for like the upgrades, and I've unlocked the ability that I now have like a skill tree for those, and then I can upgrade the individual prosthetics that I have.
Oh, cool.
So then I got to find enemies that drop, like gunpowder or scrap metal or
Hmm.
whatever. But it is still just fun to jump off a building and just one shot somebody.
That never gets old of just
Yeah,
like,
and
sword
nobody knows you're
down, you're
there.
just
Yeah.
stabbing
Uh,
someone.
it's just an awesome game. Right now I kind of hope they make a second one at some point. I don't know what their plans are or anything, but
Yeah, I don't know. It seems so beloved though that I'd be surprised if they didn't make another one. I feel like they'd at least make like another spiritual successor, kind of like maybe building on what they did with Elden Ring's kind of open world stuff. I feel
yeah.
like this would be a really good match, kind of blending the two together.
And I'm kind of curious because I know Activision was the one that released Sekiro or
Oh, okay.
helped. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just did the
Publishing,
shipping, yeah,
right?
publishing. But I don't know what rights they have tied into that, so it may
Yeah,
be a whole nother Bloodborne or Demon Souls
right,
thing.
right.
So it's just a one-off, and here we are.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's it. I unfortunately did not have a whole lot of time. Hopefully soon, because
right,
fall's coming, so you can only play soccer for so long
right.
before it
Uh,
turns into a whole different other game. But yeah, that's
right.
that's all I've been playing this week.
Well, I have played a lot of stuff today, and I got myself into trouble with my very last game. So let's start off with Cult of the Lamb. Um, I finished that this week. I got. I was really. Moon and I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks about. I like roguelikes that go forever, like Isaac. Like, I could play Isaac forever. But I also really appreciate roguelikes that are like, you could play this forever if you really wanted to, but Cult of the Lamb has a very clear end point, and it's not going to kick you out after you finish it. Like, you can still go do stuff if you want, but for me and for the way that I played, I finished it and I'm kind of done. Like, I did, I'd say probably 95% of the stuff in the game.
Cool.
My base is a well-oiled machine at this point. I have a couple more trophies to get, and the last couple are like beat the 4 bosses without taking any damage. And I don't think I'm gonna do that. Like, I think I'm just gonna, I looking at my played time on the PS5, it says it was about 18 hours. So like that's a really good like get in, get out, and I'm kind of done, and I'm happy with what I played. So I don't think I'm going to go through that. I don't think I'm going to get the platinum, because I just you run the risk of struggling with that stuff so much that when you get the platinum, you're like, I hate this game.
Yeah.
I loved this game about 20 hours ago, and man, now I just despise this thing.
Which is 90% of why I don't generally get platinums or 100% in
mhm.
video games.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, I can do this, but I really don't think I should. And I can probably start and finish one other game in the amount of time it would take me to like fight through the rest of this platinum. So I don't think I'm going to do that.
Well, I'm sure if you wait long enough too, somebody will have a guide for
Mhm.
100% no hitting, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I might have I'm assuming since this game did so well, I'm assuming they'll probably put out some DLC at some point. You know, it seems like easy, where it's just like, here's another area and another boss and stuff like that. And I'd be more than happy to come back to playing it at that point. But I don't think I'm gonna worry too much about it right now. Still, Cult of the Lamb is great. Again, it is like a roguelike Animal Crossing. So if you're looking for kind of Animal Crossing with more mechanics and kind of more of a progression, I think Cult of the Lamb is really, really good. Next game, I finished and platinumed Tunic. Speaking of
Jeez.
not platinuming something.
Crazy person.
Tunic was pretty straightforward. If you've played it before, it's like playing Fez again, where it's like, oh yeah, I know what to do here. You know, I got all the secrets. I know how to do all the things. Same with Tunic. Like I knocked out that whole thing pretty easily. I remembered the majority of the puzzles that I was kind of looking for. I figured out the golden path myself last time, and I did not this time because I thought, well, I did it once. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I did the thing myself. And I actually went through, and I didn't do this when I played on the Xbox One, but I went and I got all of the 12 like secret treasures, like the golden treasure things.
Yeah.
I went through and I got all those. It turns out I had found the majority of them before, and there are like two notable ones I hadn't found. One of them is like literally at the very beginning of the game, and I don't think I would have ever noticed it. And another one, genuinely do not now know how someone would have figured that out by themselves. I certainly,
one of those, it was hidden from the camera.
No, it wasn't even that. It's like you do this thing to do another thing to kind of like change something to go do another thing, and it's like I don't think I would have ever figured out all of these steps in order to get this thing. And that's fine. Like I might have been able to if I had scoured the instruction manual for longer, but and I got all of I had to look up so the last 3 trophies I needed were the like make all the wishes with the coins, and then get 10 of the like money banks that you can kind of smash. You have to hold 10 of those at once, which I had to do on New Game Plus. But and then the one I'll talk about at the end. But I'm glad I did the coins one, because I actually one of them was in an area I hadn't seen before. There's an area where you like, it's another one of those like the camera obscures it. You're kind of like around and down, and there's an area where you can go behind these little like changing rooms, and you can change how the fox looks. And I had never found that.
I heard people talking about that. Yeah, I don't think I found that in the Xbox version either.
Yeah, it's now that I see where it is, I recognize like, oh, of course there's a stairway there. Right. Yes. How could I be so foolish to miss it? But I would have never found it.
That is one thing that I like and hate about this game, is that it plays with your perception of how video games generally play.
Right.
And it's kind of a mix between, if you were playing this on a Nintendo back in the 80s, this is how it would play. But nowadays, this is how it plays now. And it's got kind of both of them, where it's like, I don't know, could this be it? It normally isn't. It's like, it is.
Yeah, there is something back there. Yeah, you got me again.
Especially with like the waterfalls, where it's like you keep going into the waterfalls and you don't find anything, and then there's
Hmm.
just that one that
Yeah,
has something.
has like a huge secret behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did all those, and then the last trophy I left for the very end was I'm not going to spoil it, but you get one weapon before you get a different one, and it's very much the low percent run of the kind of Metroidvanias you do, um, and that was a whole lot of fun. I looked it up beforehand, and someone was like, "Oh, do this, and then do this, and then literally it's 3 minutes." Because as soon as you make it past this one barrier, you already know how to kind of like go around behind somewhere else to kind of
Yeah.
get to where you want to go. And yeah, it was like maybe a 3 or 4 minute thing from the very beginning of the game.
Oh, that's good.
And it was pretty fun. And uh, they were in chat says getting that weapon first is so much fun. Yeah, I was expecting it to be kind of annoying, like how some of those are, where it's like, oh, you're not going to be able to do anything, but you do pretty much everything. You just got to kind of break your way out of bounds
So
for a
it just
while.
takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was really fun. I'm glad I played Tunic again. I'm glad I did all of this stuff this time, because I left some of that stuff at the end of the Xbox version. I didn't really finish it, but I'm glad I played it again. And Tunic is really great. I think
Scare you away if that's an automatic write-off for you,
100%.
because it does have the accessibility options, which also don't let the accessibility options scare you away if
Hmm.
you think, oh, this is going to lock me out of achievements. It doesn't, unless
No,
it
the
does on
game
the
doesn't care.
PlayStation. Okay,
No,
because I
no,
know
no,
for Xbox it didn't. So
no.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a great point.
you can make this as hard or as easy as you want to.
Yep.
So just
Yeah,
enjoy the Q Fox.
by the end, I I I didn't use any of the accessibility stuff on the Xbox version, but I definitely used it on this one, especially fighting the. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the blue gem boss, it was really a thorn in my side on the original one. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna set God mode on this and just use it for the rest of the game. Like
Hmm.
I'm just gonna I'm going to play this one for fun instead of playing for the challenge. And like, to be honest, the game itself, even on the default difficulty, isn't the most challenging thing. Is kind of, as long as you kind of play uh non-recklessly. Like if you just go in and you're like, yeah, like swing like crazy, the
Yeah,
game's
and then
going to
you're out of
punish you.
stamina. Yeah.
Yeah, like the game's going to punish you. But yeah, I highly recommend turning on whatever of that stuff that you feel kind of tailors your experience to the best.
I was just like, because the only negative that I have for that game for Tunic is just I feel a little too short.
It's a little weird,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it just needs to be like a tad longer, and I think it would feel a
Yeah.
lot better than it actually does.
Needs to
But
be
other
like
than that,
3D dot game heroes where it just goes across the whole screen.
Jesus, if only, man. You
Yeah,
get
if
the
only.
super wide one, and
Yep. Game was great. Speaking of accessibility options, I fired up No Man's Sky got the 4.0 update this week. Waypoint, I believe they're calling it.
yep.
And it is kind of a fundamental reworking of the game. If you want to know how fundamental it is, there's autosave now. So that should give you an idea. They totally redid all the inventory. So it's like instead of being 3 screens per inventory screen, it was basically like you had 4 or 5 inventory screens. Each one had like 3 subscreens, and it was a lot of like moving between these and like fiddling between stuff.
Yeah.
It's way more straightforward now, and now each slot in your inventory can stack way higher. So instead of being like, oh, you hold 20 of these things, it's like, yeah, now you hold 200 in one stack. Like it's
Good.
much different. Um,
It's been a while since I did an inventory adjustment.
yeah, it
'Cause I
has
think,
been quite a while.
yeah, because I
Um,
think that was when they updated it, so that way the individual boxes could hold like 9,000 of one, or maybe
mhm.
it was 900 of one, and then like the dedicated storage cubes could hold like 9,000 or something
It
like
was a
that.
lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and on top of that, I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm going to try and do it this week. They say that they have really streamlined the new game experience. Because if anybody hasn't played No Man's Sky recently, the new game experience is a lot of like, build your ship and then do this small thing and one small thing after another. And it's like really small things where you kind of want the training wheels to come off very early, where it's like, all right, I'm off the planet, let me go. Let me explore the system. And apparently they have streamlined a lot of that, and they've made a lot of the building and crafting stuff kind of get out of the way. Like, you can still do it, and there's still a quest line for it, but you don't have to do it to do X, Y, and Z, which is really great.
It is, because that's a lot of, especially in the beginning, that's a lot of the hang up of, I would really love to go check out this other planet,
Right.
but I don't have fuel to get off this planet.
You gotta
and
build
it's
a house
also
first.
actively killing me right now. So.
Right, yeah. So I'm excited to check that out, because if they have streamlined that a lot, that would make it a lot easier to recommend. But the thing I was I was going in there to check out is they have configurable difficulty settings now, and it is for each individual thing. If you're watching the video version, it's on screen right now. Like, do you want to sprint infinitely? Do you want to take no fall damage? Do you want to not fight pirates in space? Do you not want to fight sentinels? Do you want to have free fuel usage? Or do you want to push that to the extremes of you use a ton of fuel for everything, sentinels are everywhere? You know, each one of these options has kind of 3 or 4 different options where it's like fuel usage, free, minimal, normal, or extreme. So you can kind of really, like, my wife really wants to play more No Man's Sky, but she gets frustrated when she is just trying to like get from one planet to another, and pirates are like, here we go, man. It's just like, that's like not the experience she really wants to have, which I agree. I get kind of tired of fighting the pirates and the sentinels, which is like, I'm just trying to get fuel. Oh god, sentinels.
After a while, you're just trying to see how fast you can outrun things, and
right, and like,
then it turns into a horror game where you look behind you and there's like a wave of things.
That's right. Oh, there's 20 of them. Oh god.
And now they can fly into space after you too. And
yeah,
like, oh, this is not going well.
yeah, I'll get away from them for sure. Oh no. So I really, really like that. And the cool part about it is you can apply those difficulty settings to current save games. So you don't have to start a new game to set up those new settings. And as long as you're not playing permadeath, people can play together with different difficulty settings. So like, if your kid is playing like super easy, like everything is free, everything is super generous, but you have it kind of on the normal settings, both of you guys can play together, and it figures the whole thing out.
So this may be what I do to get my daughter, because my daughter enjoys playing No Man's Sky as well, but she only ever wants to play in creative mode.
Right.
And playing the regular new game is a tad much.
Yeah, it's intense. So. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this sounds like it would be perfect to be able to get her into it, so that way she could, you know, taste a little bit of the crafting and stuff without just having everything handed to her.
Right, right.
I'm just afraid to get back into it to see how jacked everything is.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about like, here's my perfect planet. Oh no, it's a volcano hellscape now.
Well, that, and every time it's always like a couple of months since I've played No Man's Sky, and then I get back into it, and I'm like, everything's different, but I can't quite tell how it's different.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm excited to like maybe start a brand new game of just like, all right, let's get a fresh slate. Let's figure out what the new game experience is. Let's, you know, get everything started back over and kind of see where the game is now. So No Man's Sky is great. It seems like the Switch version actually runs really well too. I was watching some footage of that, and that seems pretty good, surprisingly.
Considering that it's not streaming at all, it's just off the cartridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen everyone talk that it's reviewing pretty well for the Switch as well. So
yeah.
If that's the route you want to go, take it.
Yeah, exactly. So in North America, Sony launched the PlayStation Stars system this week, the totally not an NFT wink system.
Yeah.
They're not NFCs, just to be clear. I I want to lead you down the path of my great shame here. And it's not great shame because it's a really great game. As soon as uh, as soon as it went live, I went into the app, I signed up for it, and you get like I think there's 5 challenges right now, and one of the challenges is like October check-in, play a PS5 game. I think you can play a PS4 game as well, and you get a thing. Let me fire up the app so I can say exactly what you get.
I know just for signing up, you get the telescope thing,
Yep.
and then you get the T-Rex with the Sly Cooper staff. For I think that's also for playing a game in October.
Yeah, the PlayStation Tech Demo Tyrannosaurus Rex is by playing a PS4 or 5 game during October. They have a pick a fight to honor 30 years of Hadoukens. You just have to play one fighting game. I picked Mortal Kombat 11 because it's on PS Plus.
I was gonna say I think Street Fighter 5 was also on Plus at some point too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
One of them is play a PS4 or 5 game and you get a PS3 console as your kind of collectible. And then the one that has been the weirdest is Hit Play 1994. It gives you 6 games. This one is kind of fun because as a sort of background to PlayStation Stars, it's really almost a carbon copy of the Microsoft rewards system where it's like, oh, you fired up a game that's on PlayStation Plus, you get some coins. And you can redeem those coins for, I think, like Cult of the Lamb is like, if you have 6,250 coins or something, you can buy Cult of the Lamb. Or if you have like 10,000 coins or whatever, you get a $20 gift card or whatever.
It's actually 5,000 points for the $20 gift card. I am also on the app looking at it.
Right. So the 5,000 seems like it's a pretty good deal for a $20 card. And you get, like, if you buy games, you get X percent. It's like, like 10% of its price as points, like the Nintendo system. But what's different from the thing I kind of like about the Microsoft one is like, oh, play this specific game during this weekend and like get one achievement and you get a bunch of reward points. This 1994 objective here in the app is kind of cool because it says launch a game matching this song from 1994. And there are 6 games here, but they only tell you 2 song titles, and you have to kind of figure out the riddle. And all of these are on PlayStation Plus, which is great. So it's not like, well, I can't finish this because I don't have Detroit Become Human, which is the more human than human one, which is really good.
I was kind of hoping that was Twisted Metal.
that would be really good, yeah. But so the system is fine. The collectibles are fine. It's not in the OS yet. I haven't seen a time when that's going to happen. I'm assuming they'll just push a firmware update and it'll be like, oh, now you can see all your little things in your collectible case. I'm hoping that they expand this system more in the future to, like, I would love it if I got a platinum in like Horizon Forbidden West, if I got like a tall neck collectible. That's the sort of reward I'd like to see out of some of this stuff. Hopefully someday. But one of the clues here is Baby I Love Your Way crossed with Go West. And someone is like, oh, it's Death Stranding. And I was like, oh, cool. I have Death Stranding. I can just fire that guy up. So I download the PS4 version of Death Stranding, like download my saves, I fire it up, and I like get into the game and it didn't recognize it. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Also, where did my saves go for Death Stranding? It's like at the beginning of the game. It's like chapter 3 after you get through all the intro stuff. And I was like, there's a part of my brain that's like, oh, you started the game back over from the beginning because you wanted to play the game again. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Also, I guess I need to like try the PS5 version because I never tried that. And I was largely looking at that because I had forgotten the PS4 version was 30 frames.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this doesn't feel right. So I downloaded the director's cut on PS5, fired that up after. Thanks, Sony. I had to upload my save in the PS4 version and then close that out, PS5 version, download all that. It sucks. It still
did you
sucks.
have to do it through the game and not
You
just
do.
through? Yeah, which
Yeah.
is the dumbest thing because you have the option to just go to your save files and upload the save to the cloud, but the games don't recognize it for some reason. It has to be through the game.
It's still the dumbest thing, and it's just the worst. So I did that whole song and dance.
I was gonna say, did you have that moment of reality where you're like, I think I may have overwritten a save, but I don't want to look too hard into this in case I did?
Well, I was thinking sort of like, well, it's not that I'm too concerned about, because I was curious about firing up the director's cut version and checking out like all of the extra stuff they added. But I was thinking, when I fired it up on PS5 and I loaded my save, it's immediately like 4K HDR, 60 frames, and I was like, oh no, this is a problem. I could play this for 5 minutes, I think, probably, right? No, I've spent the entire week playing Death Stranding.
2 days later.
Yeah, it's a problem. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't have my old saves anymore, and I'm glad that I started from the beginning. And my save was at chapter 3, and it seems like I'd saved as soon as you got to the private area in the private like bedroom thing.
Yeah.
It seems like I saved right there. So it's like I got through the I love this game. The intro is way too long, and it's super boring. So I saved it like as soon as that was over, which is a saving grace from past me. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I was really curious to see what the experience of playing Death Stranding now is after it's been out for a while. Because I played Death Stranding as soon as it came out, and I felt like everybody was building all this stuff in the world together, and we were all kind of like, it's going to take us a long time to get these materials to build a road, or it's going to take a while to build these zip lines or something.
Yeah.
And I was really worried that I was going to like turn a corner in like Lake Knot City or whatever, and just the whole country is covered in stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, because all of that breaks down too, where it only lasts for like a week or two, I think it was, unless you keep adding materials to it.
Yeah, something like that. And my concern was like, I was hoping to get the starting experience of Death Stranding again, of just like, hey, look, you go from X to Z, no big problem, zip lines, you know, like I don't have to do anything.
You were saying you show up and all of a sudden it's like, when did they put an Arby's in the game?
Exactly. And I'm really happy that you don't get access to that stuff until you've unlocked it in the game. So I just got access to zip lines because I just I'm like halfway through chapter 5, and one of the characters gave me zip lines. I'm like, okay, now I've seen like 1 or 2 popping up here or there, which is really great, and they weren't there before. And you know, I didn't have roads for a while because I hadn't unlocked the paver option. So I'm really happy to hear that and see that it isn't like, oh, there's an Arby's now, cool. You know, it's nothing like that. It's like you still have to deliver a bunch of this stuff on foot until you get the things that you kind of need to progress.
I will say too, one of the things that I did not like was how it specifically funnels you into specific areas on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Areas that you know full well that normally you could get over no problem, but either it's an invisible wall or they won't let you use certain equipment to be able to bypass this one area because it wants you to hit this one story event.
Yep.
And you know it's going to do with BBs and you don't want to deal with it.
Yep. Yeah. That's largely been my thing of like, I don't remember exactly what happens in this game from kind of a gameplay perspective, but I know you're going to have me go to this place for the first time to give the first delivery. I know I'm going to run into BTs. I know it's going to be really bad, and I know I'm going to have a bunch of trouble. And that's fine. But it's sort of, and I'm also because my kid is usually, for the last couple of days, my kid has been hanging out and watching it, which during normal gameplay when you're delivering stuff, totally fine. During all the cutscenes where all the nightmares happen, just skipping all of those things.
Yeah.
Which
Not
is
so great.
is saving a lot of time, honestly, which is pretty good. But I am drawn to Death Stranding again for the same reason that I liked it the first time, which is I really like that moment-to-moment delivery gameplay of just, I'm going to go to this place, I'm going to load my back and my little cart up with as much stuff as I can take, and then I'm going to solve the puzzle to get myself from point A to point B.
Or you just get yourself that van and you just stock that thing up and you just go hooning off the side of a cliff.
Well, it's really great because I have unlocked the trucks now, and I didn't use a ton of that stuff in the first game because there weren't really roads because it was at the very beginning. But I wasn't even really using the little cart, the little like floating cart thing that you can attach to yourself.
That thing all the time.
I'm using it a lot more this time.
Found out you could use it as a hover skateboard.
Yeah, they do tell you that very explicitly this time. Of like, hey, if you don't have any cargo in that thing and you've got a cool hill, maybe you should hop into it and ride that sucker down. It was like, oh, right, you can do that. That's right, you can Legolas your way down there. But that so far has been pretty good. I still don't drive the trucks too much because I like the walking kind of aspect of this game more typically. But so there's a bunch of new content in there. I've not been brave enough to try one of them, which is the car ramp. It's just like,
okay.
It is literally just like a ramp that you can like yeet a car off of. And the game is like, well, it gives you like a speed boost and it cushions your landing and like you'll have a safe landing. And I'm like, I'm not brave enough to try this yet with like a truck full of stuff. Then people are building them everywhere, and I
was gonna say I could see those being all over ravines and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, well, here's a bridge over this ravine, and then here's also just like a sick ramp, and I'm like, oh, I would like to try that ramp, but I'm worried it's just.
If you want to be an old man, here's your bridge. But if
you
want to have fun,
that's right. It'll probably just land you like right in mule territory, which is terrible.
Oh yeah, God, I forgot about those guys too.
And okay, so there's some additional quests this time. There's one quest to go to like an abandoned factory. You remember when they announced the Death Stranding director's cut, and
it like looked like a Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, it's leading me towards that area, and I haven't done it yet because they're like, take this new gun and get in there, and I was like, I'm not sure I want to do that yet.
Sir, I'm still stocking up on bottles of pee, thank you.
That's right. Please, I have deliveries to make. But thankfully they have a firing range now, because one of the biggest problems in the original Death Stranding is like, here's a handgun, good luck. And it's like, okay, how do I use this thing? Like when I need to use a gun, or when I need to use like the Bola gun or the anti-BT handgun or something, I need to use it right now, and it needs to be effective. Yeah. But I've never even seen this thing before, so I'm just like out in the wilderness, like how do I shoot gun? Like what am I doing?
Yeah, because I never used those either, because you had to take care of the corpses, or else they would turn into BBs, and then they could blow up and take out part of the map.
They turn into like the BTs, and then they do like they call it the BTs, void out is what they're calling it. I'm like relearning all of these. My wife asked me the other day, she's like, why do you have like a baby strapped to your chest? And I was like, oh, that's the thing that lets me see ghosts. Yeah. And she goes, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, yeah, your mom is like the president of the United States. Anyways, it's just
Did
like,
you show how you could rock the baby?
yeah,
Yep.
we fell down a cliff. I've only fell down a cliff once, and I like landed right on BB, and he was unhappy. So I'm doing like
As
the
you would be.
controller, like the like very gentle controller rocking, and my wife is like, Man, what are you doing? What
Six
is
axis
this
is
game?
really paying off now.
That's right. That's right. I got this experience now. I got a kid. But so I haven't really done that. The firing range is pretty cool. And there was I got this one message in my mail which had the lambda symbol, and it was a yellow message, and it's like,
Mhm.
I need your help finding a cube. You'll know it when you see it. And I was just like, I don't really want to do this right now. I feel like I'm gonna get into something like those pizza delivery missions, where it's like I feel I'm gonna get into like some quest chain that I don't really want to do.
Stupid pizzas.
I haven't even started that because I know they're just a disaster. I'm gonna wait for like the speed legs level 3 or whatever they are.
It was mostly just the fact that you can't drop them, you can't get submerged underwater,
Yeah, it
and you
has to lay
cannot stack
flat.
them vertically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so annoying. So I'm wandering around and I'm like making deliveries because I'm just like I'm upgrading the engineer guy because I remembered he gave you the power legs so you can carry
Yeah.
like 500 kilograms on your back. So I'm like making deliveries to him and the old guy next to him and stuff. And the game pops up in the lower right hand corner where it pops up all the tutorial messages. It says, hey, by the way, we've sent you a couple emails with the lambda symbol. You should probably do those. I know how much you like Half-Life. I'm like, excuse me? I'm I'm sorry, the what now? And I was like, all right, now I have to go do this thing. Let me go check. So I made all my deliveries. I went back to like the West Knot delivery wherever. And the email is like, all right, if you head out of the distribution center and you kind of head northeast, you can't miss it. I was like, okay. He's like, it's a cube. You'll know it when you see it. I was like, okay, I guess I don't know what you're talking about, but that's fine. So I go out there and I'm doing the scanning with like the hand, the Odra deck,
Yeah.
the hand scanny thing. And it pops up and it says XL companion cube. And I was like, oh god. So I'm like, okay, well now I know what I'm looking for. So I go up there and I pick up like it's like an 80 kilogram companion cube.
Jesus.
So I go over and I pick it up and I bring it back, and they're like, and you know how when you deliver a package, when it's on the like delivery screen, it has the package, and then they open it up and it shows the thing inside. So it was just like a box, and then they open it up and it's the companion cube with like the heart on the side. And it's like you delivered it, and I was like, oh god, okay, I didn't really know that these were in there. Okay. And he said, hey, thanks for bringing my little cube friend back to me. Here's a reward for you. And it's just Gordon Freeman's glasses. And I was just like, oh, God.
I was
Okay.
really hoping he was going to give you your own companion cube, and every time you go into your room to rest, it's just sitting there.
I'm hoping that's where it's going to lead to, because I have done 2 more of those that have been like further and further away. The last one I had to save. A mule had it on his back, and I had to like
Okay.
take out all the mules and then steal it from him and like super sprint out of there. The only other one that I've done is I got an email from Jay saying that I needed to recover a chip from a BT area, and I went and recovered it, and you get an email from a Johnny Silverlake that gives you these face tattoos. And I was just like, oh my god, okay. And I was like, now I understand there's like the kind of like the Chinese dragon face that you see a
Yeah.
lot in Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
There's a sign for that in the game now. And I was like, all right, now I remember where I've seen that. I was like, I didn't remember that originally. So it's kind of fun. There's some of this like everyone made a big deal about Monster Energy is no longer in the game. It's Bridges Energy now, which whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I kind of like that there's this like Half-Life and Portal and Cyberpunk stuff that's in this game that is giving me this fun, weird stuff. This game is wild. I don't know if that makes a crazier game out of a game that was already crazy, but it feels like it's a more even experience now too, because we were just talking about like killing mules and them turning into BTs and stuff if you didn't incinerate them or drop them in one of those tar lakes. The game does a way better job this time of saying, okay, this is an assault rifle that is lethal, and this is one that isn't. You probably want to use the one that isn't, but you can put your blood into the lethal one and shoot those at BTs. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I feel like they kind of did a little bit of that for the original game, but I'm
It's like
glad.
I'm pretty sure they did the whole thing with like Metal Gear, where it's like the
Mhm.
blue icon for the weapon was the non-lethal version, and the
Yep.
red icon was the lethal version, or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
this
that.
time it's like orange for the lethal and purple for the, but
Okay,
it's
yeah.
very much the same thing of like, here the one color is this, the one color is that. And I feel like they're doing a better job of explicitly calling that stuff out in the kind of tooltip area in the game. If they did it in the beginning, I play in a previous game, I played that for like 200 hours, so like I don't know if they did or not. But yeah, I'm all the way back in a Death
I was
Stranding.
gonna say, watching the video that you have running too, it's like I kind of want to upgrade it to the 5 and check it out again.
The
I had a lot
60
of fun the
frames,
first time playing that thing.
and for me, like the 60 frames thing is really great. Oh, they do really cool stuff with the dual sense. Of course, Kojima does. Like that's his like nom de plume, sort of. That's not the right saying. But they do a really good job of using the new vibration function. So when you're just walking around like normal, you don't really feel anything. When you have the one of your like exoskeleton legs turned on, you get the vibration as you step. Like your step on the right foot and the right one vibrates, the left one, and sort of alternates. And you can turn all of this stuff off. So if anyone's like, I don't want to play this because that sounds like it sucks. The more weight you put on your back, the harder it is to pull L2 and R2. So like
Oh,
if you
nice.
have like three, I was just doing a delivery of a person, which always sucks and it will always suck forever. They are the worst. And between like the person and a bunch of stuff, I had like 150 kilograms on my back, and it was really hard to pull the triggers down and keep them held because like unlike the person who's playing in this video, I know because I'm like a porter expert, I'm always holding L2 and R2 down the whole time. You know, like I've
Gotta have
always
that
have like,
stability.
yeah, I'm always holding the straps. You're always doing that. And there's one other. Oh, it uses the speaker and the microphone for a lot more stuff other than just BB. It when you're like crunching over rocks, it sounds through there. When you're submerged in water, it sounds different like that. So they're using it for a lot of extra stuff, which is really pretty cool. I wasn't really expecting them to do anything like that, but at the very least, having it at 60 frames is kind of a game changer for this game. But also, like, I forgot how really good looking this game is. You know, it's like America via Scotland, and it looks really great. And I'm just all the way back on it, man. I can't help myself with Death Stranding, and it's so good.
I mean, there's always room for a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, Kojima Productions on Twitter just announced their next game is to be starring Elle Fanning, and one of the producers from Kojima Productions retweeted it and said like, "Oh, I wonder who this could be." Like hashtag Koji Pro, hashtag Death Stranding. And I was like, pulling me back in, man. You're just because the rumor for a while was that they were going to do a Death Stranding sequel on Stadia, but obviously that is not going to be the case anymore. But I like Death Stranding a lot, and I just want to go back downstairs and go play it because it's real great, and I just It's one of those games too where it's like, I'll just do one delivery. An hour and a half later,
Yep.
all right, delivery done. Oh, I gotta go do something.
Because you spent an hour meticulously picking out the trail that you're going down
That's
this
right.
mountain, up and down this mountain with, and then you
Yep.
get halfway up and realize, oh crap, this isn't gonna work. So
Yeah,
then you
it's
spend
ghost
all
time.
this, for all those people that were like, oh, it's just a walking simulator. Yeah,
Yeah, it is, and it's
that's
dope.
all it needed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick as hell. Yeah. All right, but that's all I'm playing this week. So let's take a break.
Yeah.
Time is at 3:30.
I'm gonna have to pull that game out and set it aside.
Yeah, it's the director's cut is on PS Plus Extra, I believe. Because I think all 6 of those games for that challenge were all on PS Plus, like the game catalog section. But you will have to fire up the PS4 version to upload your saves to the blah 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 blah.
Or I just skip the process altogether and just restart my game.
Yep.
Because why wouldn't you?
What was even weirder is I totally forgot to mention it. When I fired up my save that was at like chapter 3, I got like 45 trophies out of like the 63.
All for the
trophies.
PS5 version?
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, so I clearly like had the right save. I just overwrote that save with something else. I don't know. Wild. Yeah, Feyre, we talk about our this week's energy drinks in the Outcast this week.
It was nothing new.
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy.
Not yet. Maybe next week.
Yeah, maybe. All right, are you ready to do the next segment?
I am.
I sort of want to blow through this and then go lay down because I am exhausted.
Sounds good to me.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of October 10th, 2022. Asterigos Curse of the Stars comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is a tiny build published game. Kind of a cool... I don't want to... This is like a compliment, but it kind of looks like a PS2 era, like third-person hack-and-slash action RPG kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you talk about like a third-person action RPG kind of hack and slash, people are like, yes, a Soulsborne. It's like, no, it doesn't really look like that. It's not like that deliberate kind of battle system. So that looks kind of fun. I like how that looks.
Yeah.
No More Heroes 3 comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This came out August of last year on the Switch, which I had already forgotten about because seems like that did not get a super warm reception.
I don't think any of them do, really.
I
think it's like this weird cult classic where the people who love it, and the rest of us are just kind of like, it looks cool.
Yeah, and I feel like the legacy of this one is, it doesn't run super well on the Switch. So I was watching some side-by-side stuff, and boy, that is a way different game on PS5. Like, it's a night and day sort of thing. So I guess go check it out if you hadn't yet played it, but you probably played it on Switch already if you like that series, I guess. Next up, Lego Brick Tales comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series, console, Switch, and PC. This has been out on mobile and I think PC for a while, but this game is actually kind of cool, and I've been looking forward to picking this up on a console. It's not like one of the Traveler's Tales Lego games. Yep. It is you're building Lego stuff out of pieces to try and solve some sort of puzzle. So it's like, you need to get this thing from point A to point B. Here's all your pieces. Start building something that will do this objective. So it looks really cool. Everybody that's played it, I heard, seems to really like it. So check out Lego Brick Tales. It seems like it's pretty cool. I think it's only like $20 or something.
It wasn't that expensive.
Yeah. Fueled Up comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is a 4-player co-op spaceship game. It looks a lot like Overcooked. You know, that 4-player, like, oh, 2 of us are doing something over
Oh, I
here,
think I
2
know
of us
what
are doing
this is.
something over
Yeah.
there. It looks very much like that, where you're 4 of you are doing like co-op shenanigans on a spaceship to try and get it to do X, Y, or Z. So looks pretty cool, but I feel like the great part about this subgenre is like, you know, if you and your friends like that already, or if you're like me and you're like, no, I don't want to fight with my family member about, like, just put the core in the hyperdrive. Like, it's just right over there. It's just pick up the core.
Give me your thing. I will do it.
That's right. Yeah, I'll just teleport over there and oh, come on. So that's Fueled Up. Triangle Strategy comes out on PC as well this week. That's the previously came on Switch last year, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that 2D HD, HD2D, whatever they call it.
Yep. Tactics RPG.
Yeah. I remember hearing that the Octopath Traveler, the other crazy name, the PC version of that was really good. So I'm kind of expecting the PC version of this will be pretty good too. You played that, right?
Yep. I really enjoyed it. I really loved it.
That's what I remembered, and I haven't gotten around to playing it quite yet, but maybe someday.
It checked all the right boxes for what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I gotta try and explain this next game because I did not know about this until today. Dragon Ball The Breakers comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. This is a 1v7 asymmetrical multiplayer Dragon Ball game. So the 7 people play as like non-hero kind of human characters, and the other person just plays as like Frieza or Cell and go crazy.
You just run around and hide.
Yeah, well, it seems like you're, from what I could tell from the gameplay, is that it largely looks like your objective as the 7 people is to gather the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron to defeat the one player.
Say, is this a Dragon Ball Dead by Daylight?
Very much so. Yeah, it really seems like that. Which that seems like the craziest and coolest idea I could think of for. So I'm glad someone.
My God. The trailer opens up with you play as a powerless human.
Great, I love it. So I really hope this game is cool, because that could be a really cool. Getting 8 people to play at once seems like it might be a little bit of a big ask. I'm sure it has like matchmaking and all that, but that sounds really wild. Good on you guys for making just an exactly bonkers game that Dragon Ball deserves. I love it.
I think this seems crazy enough that I might check it out.
Yeah, it's I when I saw it, I was like, oh, it'll be another like open world flying around as Goku sort of, and it's just like, nope, it's 1v7 multiplayer. It's like, oh, that's literally the last thing I would have expected. Okay. So, yeah.
They've got a farmer running around with like a shotgun, and everyone knows that's not going to do anything.
That's not going to do anything to sell. You're a pig. Like, what are you going to do? Next up is NHL 23 comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series consoles. That's followed up by a game that I think Moon has been looking forward to, Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. It was on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. That looks pretty good. I was watching some gameplay of that earlier. That looks like a pretty solid kart racer. I can't remember if he's looking forward to that one or the Disney one, but I think the Disney one is also coming out soon. Next up is a game that I'm sort of disappointed I didn't know is coming out, is PGA Tour 2K23. It was out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. That looks pretty good. I've been a little hesitant to pick up PGA Tour games lately because the company that made the golf club is now making these games, and those games were always intense in a way that I respected but never really found fun. So I'm a little hesitant to like drop what is probably now $70 on a PGA Tour game.
Yeah.
And like the real bummer is like I get it, but no one's reviewing these games really because they're like, yeah, it's just the new one. It's like, yeah, but is it mean? Like, is this game I can like play and have fun with, or do I need to be like an actual PGA pro to play this video game? So
Does it have an assist of any kind?
right, does it have an arcade mode? Because that's what I'm looking for now. I'm 41. I'm at the end of my patience for making sure my stick goes exactly back and exactly forward.
Wait until these games decide they want to go down the quote-unquote Dark Souls route, where no HUD whatsoever. If you want to know wind direction, you got to pay attention to a tree that's off yonder.
That's right. That's right. Zoom in on the tree with your binoculars. Yeah. Oh, God. And lastly here, Scorn comes out on Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. If you're trying to remember what Scorn is, this is the Gross H.R. Geiger game. I was watching a bunch of gameplay of this today. It's so gross. Oh man, this game is not for me. It is like an adventure kind of escape game. It also has some guns that are just disgusting.
One of them, I'm pretty sure I saw it hook up to his own belly button, and it was drawing something out. And,
it's just real
juicy.
Yes. This game is juicy. That's the best adjective for it in the worst way. So I got to give a lot of credit to the team. They're being really upfront of just like, look, it's got guns, but it's not a shooter. Look, it's a story game, but it doesn't have a lot of story. It's really gross. It's exactly what it looked like as we've been showing it over the last couple of years. And I give them a lot of credit for just sticking to making just a real gross, wet thing. And we don't get to describe games like that. Maybe for a good reason, but
and I'm pretty sure it's coming out to Day Pass day and date.
I think so, yeah, because Microsoft's been really pushing it, and I don't think it's coming out on PlayStation platforms, if at all. If not, probably not for the next year or so. So, yeah, man, go check out Scorn if you want to.
Yeah, that's your thing. Go for it.
Yeah. I got two quick news stories here. I'm sure I'm probably the last person to tell you this if you're listening to a video game podcast, but the first Super Mario Brothers movie trailer is out now. You've probably already seen it. I showed it to my wife and kid, and I watched it the other night. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, Mario looks a little weird, and Chris Pratt sucks, but like, it's not the worst thing. It's not like Chris Pratt coming up like, yo, it's me, Mario. What's up? It's just like, it's just a weird, Toad's voice is cool. Jack Black is always great.
It was like Jack Black doing Bowser sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in Discord, it's like, you can't tell that it's him until just slightly towards the end of what he's saying.
Yeah, like when he yells at the end, it's like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, but I mean, besides that, it sounds like I was expecting Bowser to sound like Toad. Yeah, Toad is kind of that weird high pitch,
And I think
a little off, but
yeah, and I think the thing that I kind of like is it's an Illumination Studios movie, so they make Minions and they made the two Sing movies. It very much looks like one of their movies. So it's like, it's kind of their take on the Mario stuff, which will look great. I think it looks cool, even if it looks a little bit different. But it's like a 2-minute trailer that doesn't really show a whole lot, but that's fine. It looks okay. If you haven't watched it at this point, go watch it. It's a cool thing. It features the penguins from Mario 64 fighting.
There's already people losing their minds about there being a Smash Brothers movie. Because you see the things online where it's like, okay, we've had a good Pikachu movie. I mean, you could argue Pokemon does well, but Detective Pikachu specifically was pretty good.
Right.
The Sonic movie was pretty good. If the Mario movie does well, then you can the Smash Brothers.
It's all coming
initiative.
together. Yeah, that's right. Thanos' gauntlet comes. We just need two more. Boy, speaking of Pokemon,
I was gonna say, then you're just doing Wreck-It Ralph stuff right there. And
yeah, exactly. Speaking of Pokemon, my kid loves the Pokemon show that's on Netflix, which I'm not expecting at all. She wants to dress up as Pikachu this year for Halloween. She's all the way into it, which is until the Pokemon start fighting, and then she's like, I'm gonna go in the other room and do something else. I was like, yeah, I'll let you know when they're done.
Yeah.
So yeah, go watch the trailer. It's fine. Good news about the supply chain. Steam Deck is now available for immediate purchase.
Yep.
You can just go to the website and just buy one, and they will ship it to you post haste. You don't have to wait for months or whatever. Like I'm waiting for my play date that still has not yet showed up. Please, I would like to play it. But people are saying they're ordering it and getting it in a couple of days. So I am mightily trying to resist purchasing one of these things. I just bought myself a new phone, so I feel like that is my big purchase of the year. But man, these things are real cool, and they do a lot of emulation.
How much are they right now?
Starts at 400 still, like 400, 450, and it goes up to...
talking the dock.
Oh, how much is the dock? It's like 100, I think. So it's not
look it up real quick too, and I can't find it.
I think they're starting to ship those now too. So like,
I know that. I heard. Sorry, go ahead.
I know the deck itself ships pretty quickly, but I think the dock is getting to be more available now too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the deck is still $399 for the 64 gigabit.
Mm-hmm.
Was it eMMC internal storage, and you get a carry case.
Oh, that's probably not bad. I get the impression that even the low end one, that $400 one, is still a really good machine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because looking at it, really the only difference between the three of them, the main hardware difference is just the type of storage you have. Either you have the eMMC or you have an NVMe, and then at that point it's just the size. Do you want a 256 NVMe or do you want a 512 gigabyte?
Right. And the majority of people are probably going to be running stuff off their SD card anyway, so it's probably not the biggest deal.
Because you can throw in an SD card, right?
Yeah, because that's how people are loading up not only like drivers for Windows, but also emulators and stuff. Yeah, because I was just watching a video. I stumbled on it on YouTube. Someone just put out a video. I wish I could give them a shout out, but they're like a retro feature. They're like a retro focused YouTube channel, and they were going over how all the emulators run currently, now that they've been getting updates over the last couple of months on the Steam Deck, and all of them except for like the most demanding Switch games run really well, which I was pretty impressed by, and it seems like it's way easier to get that sort of stuff onto your Steam Deck now, which is nice. But yeah, I keep watching that thing because I keep thinking, like, I know as soon as I make the decision to buy one of these, I know Valve will be like, all right, here it is, Steam Deck 2. It's 10 times better, and now it doesn't run as hot. And it's like, I swear to every time.
That's sort of what I'm waiting on, too. I'll still pick up Gen 1, because chances are they'll drop the price to get rid of inventory, so that way they can move in Gen 2.
Yeah, but like, how does $150 sound? It's like, perfect.
Great.
I'm happy to pick it up. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll hot sell those for $5.
That's right. That's right. That's how I have one of those controllers somewhere around here. Yeah.
The deck is actually $89, and it has an expected delivery date of 1 to 2 weeks off of the day of purchase.
Oh, for the dock?
Yeah, for the dock.
Okay, that's not bad.
It looks like it lets you plug everything in. They're showing like Xbox controllers, 8-bit. They're showing like the Xbox
HDMI.
Yeah, what's that other, the accessibility controller?
Big
thing. Yeah, you can plug those in, and it's showing a boy, I cannot think, a 3D printer. So I'm assuming it's allowing you to make your own controllers, and you can plug them in and go.
Right.
So
Pharaoh Rain says FF5 on Steam Deck. You got it. That's what I'm interested in. But I mean, it also everyone that I have heard from, especially over the last, I feel like 2 months, everybody has gotten their Steam Deck because they accelerated the production of them so rapidly. Everybody's been saying, like, everything I throw at this thing runs at least at like 720p really well, if not 1080p really well. So It seems super cool. I just can't justify. I don't even play my Switch, so like I can't justify another couple $100.
It's also too. It's just, the layout just looks so asinine.
I know, and like everybody that gets it, like they say, like, oh, now I get it. Okay, I'm holding it and I get it. And I was like, okay, like everybody's been saying that, so like I trust them, but it just still looks real wonky, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Whatever. One day
yeah.
we'll be proud owners.
That's of the Steam Deck 2 XL or something. It's just a laptop at that point. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Clicking a link to a YouTube channel, go like and subscribe over there. As a reminder, everything we record audio, we also record video, even if we're not live streaming it. So like we just recorded an episode of Pup yesterday. That'll be up. Game Club, We Were Like It, all that stuff. Critical Misses, all that stuff goes up to the channel. So you can check all of that stuff out there. Don't forget to join the Discord. It's featuring the best community on the internet, no lie. And check out the Patreon, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are values.
Numerical values. Talked about all the cool stuff you got at the top of the show. That financial support helps us out a ton. That covers all of the hosting because it's not cheap. We have, knock on wood, the hosting for the podcast has never gone down. So the RSS feed has been live for like 15 years at this point. It's because Libsyn is a really great host, but they're not cheap. And it also means they don't inject ads into the episode of just like, all right, let's talk about our next hot game. HelloFresh brings you, use code. Like there's none of that.
Hey, you guys want to talk about Blue Chew?
That's right. Manscaped 4. So like none of that stuff gets injected, but all that stuff costs money. So your financial support helps a ton if you choose to do so. If you can't, totally understand. You can support us by sharing the podcast everywhere on social media, telling your friends, especially. Word of mouth is a huge benefit for not only our stuff, but pretty much everything you listen to. That stuff genuinely does help a ton. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Sure you don't want to end the segment with like, it's your boy, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah,
that's right. Ring that bell, buddy. Remix. Oh man. All right, what titles do you have?
I have, and surprisingly quite a few, and I was worried that I wasn't going to have any.
Yeah, ditto.
Enjoy the Cute Fox. My Great Shame. It's a Problem. Oh, look, an Arby's. Go hooning off the side of a cliff. Bridges Energy. Nom de Plume. America via Scotland. And It's Real Juicy.
America via Scotland. I have Ken's Muscle Memory. It's a Problem. A Gross Wet Thing, which is like unfortunately my leader for this week. My Great Shame. Oh look, it's an Arby's. And America via Scotland.
I am fine with It's a Gross Wet Thing. Nothing really was popping out for me this week anyway, so.
Yeah, I also like Oh Look, It's an Arby's, but I'm not sure I want Arby's social media Sauron's eye to swing towards us. Next thing you know, they're making the logo out of like curly fries.
Unless they want to start paying for advertisement.
You know what? I love Arby's. I am more than happy to talk about Arby's as a paid sponsorship. Paid sponsorship. Yeah. As part of this. TVGPfans@gmail.com. Yeah, don't forget, back up the truck of fries just straight into my garage. All right, I'm going to circle a gross wet thing.
All right.
I feel like we have to have one title every once in a while where someone sees it in their feed and they're like, no, thank you.
Yep. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 781 from October 10th, 2022. A gross, wet thing.
I really wish they didn't go in with full 4K 60 FPS.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. As always, so happy to see all of you here. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Moon will be back next week. Bye.